All right, get ready to dive deep because today we're going way back to ancient Greece
Ancient Greece.
to hang with some of the most incredible mathematicians in history.
Yeah.
We're talking Euclid, the father of geometry,
Oh, yeah?
Archimedes, our inventor extraordinaire, Apollonius, the master of curves,
Love it.
and Nicomachus, the number whiz.
It's going to be epic.
It is going to be epic.
It's going to be amazing to kind of think about how their ideas developed centuries ago still kind of shape how we think about things today.
I know.
It's crazy.
And what I think is even more fascinating is how would these figures react to modern-day thinkers?
Oh.
Like a Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
Kanye West,
Yes.
or even, a Nietzsche.
Oh, my gosh. The clashes
Could you imagine?
and the convergences would be wild.
Oh, yeah.
But let's start
Okay.
with Euclid
Okay.
and his groundbreaking work,
Yes.
Elements.
Elements, which is like the geometry Bible.
Yeah. For like over 2,000 years.
2,000 years, yeah.
Yeah.
What made it so revolutionary? What was so special about this book?
Euclid, he did something incredible. He took all of this geometric knowledge that people had that was just kind of floating around,
Right.
and he systematized it.
Okay.
Like, he established a set of axioms,
Yes.
which are like these self-evident truths.
Right.
So, like, things which are equal to the same thing are also equal to one another.
Right. Okay.
So from these very simple starting points,
Yeah.
he built up this whole system of propositions and theorems,
Oh, wow.
all logically derived.
Okay.
So that's actually where the concept of geometric proofs came from.
So he's not just saying like, hey, a triangle has three sides. He's saying here is why.
Right.
And how we can prove that based on these fundamental truths.
Yeah. It's not just like, oh, this is what a square is. It's like, here are the properties of a square.
Yeah.
And here's why they exist and why they are true.
Based on these other building blocks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that rigor
Yeah.
was groundbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh.
nobody had done that before.
Yeah.
In the same way.
Wow.
Now imagine, like, Socrates,
Oh, yeah.
like, enters the picture.
Right.
The OG,
Yeah.
master of questioning.
Of questioning.
You think he's going to just accept Euclid's axiom?
No, he's going to spend hours grilling him.
Totally.
Yeah.
He'd be like, but what makes you so sure
Yeah.
that this is a self-evident truth?
What if it's not?
What if it's not, right? He'd be all about pushing those boundaries of logic,
Totally.
testing assumptions,
Yeah.
exploring the limits of, like, what we as humans
Can understand.
can understand.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so fascinating to think about, though.
It's so cool.
How these ancient debates about, like, truth and knowledge still resonate today.
Oh, totally.
It's wild. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's move on
Okay.
to Archimedes.
Okay.
Now, this guy was not just a mathematical genius,
Yeah.
but also a serious inventor.
Big time.
Yeah.
Huge. He was, like, obsessed
Okay.
with the relationship between shapes
Yeah.
and volumes.
Okay.
So he was the one who figured out that the surface area of a sphere
Okay.
is 4 times the area of its greatest circle.
Wow.
And he proved this
Okay.
using this method called the method of exhaustion,
Okay.
which is like a very early form of calculus.
Wait, calculus back then?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
It's pretty crazy. And this wasn't just theoretical for him, though.
Yeah.
He was also using his mathematical knowledge to create practical things.
Okay.
So he developed the screw pump for
Okay.
irrigation,
Right.
and he made war machines.
This is where I think Joe Rogan would jump in.
I know.
Can you imagine him just geeking out over Archimedes' designs for catapulted giant claws to lift ships out of the water?
Absolutely. I think Rogan would love
Yeah.
the practicality of his work. How he took these, like, abstract mathematical principles
Yeah.
and turned them into tools and weapons.
I mean, it just makes you wonder, like, would Archimedes have been a guest on the Joe Rogan Experience if they'd lived in the same era?
Totally. He would have been a great guest.
Oh, man. I would love to hear that conversation.
Me too.
Okay, let's move on to another geometric giant,
Okay.
Apollonius,
Yeah.
who dedicated his life to studying conic sections.
Conic sections.
Mhm.
Now, those are those shapes, right? You
Yeah.
get when you slice a cone at different angles. So, like, parabolas,
Yeah.
ellipses,
Yeah.
and hyperbolas.
Yeah, I remember struggling to understand those in school. Like, what made them so special?
Well, what Apollonius did was he explored their properties in depth.
Yeah.
And he revealed, like, their hidden beauty
Ah.
and their complexity. But what's amazing is that these shapes, They might seem really abstract,
Yeah.
but they have countless applications in the real world.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay. So think about, like, a satellite dish
Okay.
or a headlight.
Okay.
Their parabolic shapes are specifically designed to focus light,
Right.
or radio waves,
Right.
or, like, think about the orbits of planets.
Oh, yeah?
They follow elliptical paths.
Right.
So Apollonius's work laid the groundwork for understanding these, like, fundamental shapes
Yeah.
that literally govern the movement of everything.
Right.
From planets
Yeah.
to particles.
That's wild.
It's crazy to think about
Yeah.
how these, like, seemingly abstract shapes
Yeah.
are, like, embedded in the fabric of, like, the universe.
So it's like this secret code
Yeah.
that Apollonius cracked, and now we're using it to build all of this amazing technology.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Okay. Cool.
Let's move on to our final mathematician,
Okay, let's do it.
Nicomachus,
Yes.
who, unlike the others, was focused on the world of numbers
Yeah, yeah.
rather than shapes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Nicomachus, our number theorist.
Yeah.
What kind of things was he into?
So he was fascinated by the properties of numbers themselves,
Okay.
right? So things like prime numbers,
Okay.
perfect numbers,
Right.
the different categories of numbers, like even an odd, square, cube.
Okay.
So he was really looking for, like, the patterns and relationships,
Yeah.
trying to understand the inherent order
Right.
within the numerical system.
Okay. So I can see this catching Kanye's attention.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's all about patterns and finding the beauty
Absolutely.
in structure.
I can just imagine Kanye,
Yeah.
like, declaring himself,
Right.
like the golden ratio
Yeah.
of creativity, right? Like
Yeah.
the perfect embodiment
Right.
of numerical harmony
Yeah.
and, like, artistic genius.
It's funny, but it also makes you think, like, how these mathematical concepts,
Yeah.
like the golden ratio, do seem to pop up
Yeah,
in art and music.
totally.
Is it coincidence, or is there something deeper going
Right,
on?
that's the question.
That's like a question that has, like, fascinated people
Yeah.
for centuries, right?
Yeah.
Is math just like this human invention,
Right.
like a tool we created to make sense of the world?
Right.
Or is it something like more fundamental, like
Yeah.
a language woven into, like, the fabric of the universe?
It's like, is math discovered
Yeah,
or invented?
exactly.
Like, what is it?
That's the question. And there's evidence to support both sides.
Really?
Yeah, so, like, on the one hand,
Yeah.
you have this, like, incredible order and predictability
Okay.
of the natural world.
Right.
Like the way that planets move
Yeah.
in their orbits,
Right.
the patterns in plant growth, the laws of physics.
Yeah.
All of it seems to point to, like, this underlying mathematical structure.
It's like the universe is speaking in math,
Right.
and we're just trying to learn the language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you also have the argument that math is just a way for us to, like, impose order on a world that might be chaotic.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right. It's a human construct, the system we've developed
Yeah.
to make sense of things that might not inherently be mathematical.
So are we forcing the universe into, like, our neat little mathematical boxes?
Yeah.
Or are we uncovering some deeper truth that was always there?
I don't know. That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
And I think different people, even these mathematicians we're talking about,
Yeah.
probably had different perspectives on it.
Now I'm curious, what would someone like Nietzsche,
Oh.
the philosopher who was all about the power of the human will, what would he have to say about this?
Oh, Nietzsche, I think, would see math as this, like, testament to human ingenuity.
Yep.
He would argue that it's not about discovering some, like, pre-existing truth,
Yeah.
but about creating order out of chaos.
Like a power move.
Totally.
A way for humans to kind of assert their dominance
Yeah,
over the natural world.
absolutely. It's like, we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
We're going to, like, systematize it.
Yeah.
They're going to understand it.
Yeah.
And we're going to use it
Right. Right.
to our advantage.
Yeah.
So math, for Nietzsche,
Yeah.
I think it would be like a celebration
Okay.
of the human will to knowledge,
Yeah.
the drive to understand,
Yeah.
and ultimately to, like, control our environment.
Wow. That's a pretty radical perspective.
It's very Nietzsche.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got Socrates
Yeah.
questioning the very foundations of Euclid's geometry.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Rogan, like, geeking out
Yeah.
over Archimedes' war machines,
Totally.
Kanye proclaiming himself,
Yeah.
the golden ratio of creativity,
Of course.
and Nietzsche like celebrating math
Yeah.
as like this power move
Yeah.
over nature.
It's like a whole intellectual mashup.
It is,
It's kind of awesome.
but it just goes to show
Yeah.
how these ancient mathematical ideas
Yeah.
still have the power to spark debate,
Absolutely.
inspire creativity, and just challenge our understanding of the world.
Cool.
It's really wild. But before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to something you said earlier about math being either discovered or invented.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, man.
Like, where do you land?
It's such a good question.
Yeah.
I go back and forth, honestly.
Okay.
Like, some days
Yeah.
I look at, like, the elegance of a mathematical proof,
Okay.
or the way that a complex equation can predict a physical phenomenon with incredible accuracy.
Right.
And I think, like, this has to be something fundamental.
Yeah.
Like, this is something built into, like, the fabric of reality.
Like the universe is whispering secrets
Yeah,
in the language of math.
totally.
Yeah.
But then other days, I think about how we've created all these different mathematical systems, like
Yeah.
all these different ways of representing numbers
Right.
and manipulating them.
Yeah.
And it feels more like a human invention,
Okay.
like a tool we've developed
Yep.
to understand the world through our own particular lens.
Right. So maybe it's not an either or.
Yeah,
Like maybe math is both discovered
maybe.
and invented. Like
Right.
some kind of like collaboration
Yeah.
between the human mind and the underlying structure of the universe.
I think that's a really beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, we bring our own, like, creativity
Yeah.
and ingenuity to the table,
Right.
but we're also working within, like, the constraints
Right.
of some kind of underlying order.
Yeah.
Like, there are rules
Yeah.
that govern how things work.
It's like we're composing music.
Yeah.
We have the freedom to choose the notes, the rhythms, the instruments,
Yeah.
but we're still working within the framework
Right.
of musical scales and harmonies.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And just, like, there are different styles of music.
Yeah.
Like, different ways of expressing yourself musically.
Yeah.
There might be different mathematical systems.
Right.
Different ways of understanding
Yeah.
and describing the universe.
Wow, that like opens up a whole new perspective.
Totally.
So instead of asking, is math discovered or invented?
Yeah.
Maybe the more interesting question is what other mathematical systems
Yeah.
are out there
Right.
waiting to be discovered
Waiting to be discovered or invented.
or invented.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe those new systems will lead to, like, even more mind-blowing insights about the nature of reality.
Right. This deep dive
I know.
has been a wild ride.
It's pretty crazy.
You traveled back in time, hung out with ancient Greek math geniuses, and debated the nature of reality with modern-day thinkers.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
What are like some of the key takeaways you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think, first, I hope they gain, like, a new appreciation for the brilliance and the lasting impact of these ancient mathematicians.
Yeah.
Euclid, Archimedes, Apollonius, Nicomachus.
Yeah.
They laid the groundwork for so much of our modern understanding of math and science.
Yeah, they were true pioneers.
Yeah.
And I think beyond like the specific theorems and proofs,
Yeah.
they really embodied a spirit of intellectual curiosity,
Totally.
a willingness to push the boundaries of knowledge, which I think is just incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And secondly, I hope this, like, sparked some new questions for our listeners,
Yeah.
whether it's about, like, the nature of math,
Yeah.
the relationship between, like, ancient wisdom and modern thought,
Yeah.
or simply, like, a renewed fascination with the power of shapes and numbers.
Yeah.
I hope this, like, encourages them to keep exploring
Right.
and asking questions.
Yeah. That's a perfect note to end on.
I think so.
So, dear listener, as you go forth into the world, remember to like embrace your inner mathematician.
Yeah.
Look for patterns, question assumptions.
Yeah.
And never stop exploring the beauty and mystery of the universe.
And who knows, maybe you'll even, like, make a discovery that would make Euclid, Archimedes, Apollonius, and Nicomachus proud.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I know.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us
Yeah, thanks for having me.
on this incredible journey through the world of ancient Greek mathematics.
This was fun.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing and those curiosity fires burning.
Keep thinking.
Yes.